it's the weekend here. And as always, it's 8:46 a.m. I have a little candle going here. I had no intention of doing a reading today just because, like, I felt like yesterday I just really killed it, or this week. But there's just been so much to talk about, and I woke up this morning and like I felt like I had some good rest. And if you watched my yesterday's session, it was about a therapy session, but it really was something that went on. So I said, oh well, I'm not gonna be like so and so. Anyways, by the nighttime I just wanted to go to bed, and so I did, and I found a way to like have a happy night, but I still was feeling my Chiron moments. And so I woke up this morning and then I was like, oh, let me plan a few things, and then I had to reroute my day, and I'm like, what is going on today? And I look at my chart, and what do I see? The sun is at 23.5 degrees of Scorpio, which means that it is like 30 minutes of Uranus time just away from being in a conjunction. That means that it's like on top of like my natal Uranus. And so this happened like the other day when I had Mars, and I started this whole thing, and I really feel like I blasted through on that day and created something really magical using that Uranus like time. But today it seemed as though this came out of nowhere. So this is before then, and it doesn't really like hit until like about, so it's 8:45 here, so it's not gonna be until like 11:30 tonight. So not 11:30 in the morning, just a few hours from now, 11:30. So I still have like, a good like 12 hours. But that doesn't help that it's not like you can feel it. And the reason for that is because we do have like some other participating planets that are in there. Let me find them here. And one of them happens to be Jupiter. It just went retrograde. So that's at 25 degrees. So that's like the closest one. And then you have Saturn that's at 25 degrees of Pisces. So they're making now a trine there. And then you have Neptune there. So now there's like 4 planets. And then you have Venus there. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets. And then you have the node there at 16 degrees of Pisces, the south node. Or was that the north node? The north node is in Pisces. I don't know. Oh. Well, here we go, right? See why these totems are so important? And we'll like pull them out. Here's the fish. And where is he hiding? He's pointing in the north, and he's all by himself. Wow, I love that I pull out these totems and I don't even know why I'm doing them, and then they make more sense. So yeah, the north node is in Pisces and the south node is in Virgo. So what does that really mean? So they're invisible little places in the sky, and just like you can't really put like an intersection into the sky, this intersection is really important just because that point is a point of which it is that eclipses are made in those times. And because these eclipses are there, these opening and closing parts of the sun blocking the earth has this wonderful little alchemical reaction to earth and its earthlings, so us. And so that's why they become a philosophical topic. They're more than just a spectacle that happens in the sky, although people want you to really view it that way. And maybe, at some layers of your life you need to, but in reality, if you're starting to break down time, this is where it becomes important. And this is why this is important. It means that in our Virgo place, it's where it is that we're leaving behind certain kind of rituals and beliefs, and mostly, I guess, daily routines, right? How we care and what we care about. Think about that for a second. But that doesn't mean that we're less compassionate with our north node in Pisces. Well, let's think about this for a second. What would be a north node situation with Pisces? Well, we just had a wonderful big hurricane, being the biggest thing that's ever happened in the world, right? in the world this year to a country, and so it's left it like completely, washed away. That's very watery. That's very Piscean. But what happens there? It lands in a time that it says New Hope, right? That's a city it got to there with. I mean, I'm just pulling out synchronicity. Of course, you can make your judgment or whatever it is might be, but as you will always do, we should all be independent of other people's opinions. That the North Node was really just doing that, right? It wasn't overlooking people. It was taking, because remember, Pisces is the last house. So these are third world countries where people have been unnoticed, I should say, for quite some time. And maybe they have accepted that that's probably their life. But the North Node says no, right? Because why? Because we're going there. And what do we have in the South Node? We have the South Node, the care that it needs. And so this care that comes only from our Fragonian thinking, because that's what they do. They, facilitate order and they get it done. And that's what Virgos are good for. But in this case, they're getting it done to prepare for this new world that's coming here. And as you see, Saturn is in Pisces, him also, right? He's leaving this chapter, and he's not leaving anyone out of this last chapter of where Pisces is and now where the North Node is, right? But also Saturn moving into Aries. What is that? He's already in the restart moments. So you see how critical these points are, talking about them. Why this grand water quadrant is going on right now, or 5 pieces. What's that? Pentagon. There's a pentagon of of planets going on in water today. That's why this specific weekend could definitely be a very emotional kind of retrospective internal kind of weekend, and hopefully we're able to express ourselves in a way that that satisfies us, considering there's so much kind of excavation that's going on with Saturn here in this last house. And now that Jupiter's gone retrograde, and Jupiter retrograde is where the moments really do occur. It's really when you do the work. It's just all these retrograde. Uranus gone retrograde, back into Earth, and now it's in a sextile to Neptune there. So many different things are kind of pulling, and how many places our mind is going to go to. One of the things that really I feel today, I was wow, my my need to do this reading really had a lot to do with me, and already, I mean, when I woke up kind of realizing that I was kind of I don't know, feeling a kind of mood about something, I was just man, that's not. I was I had to calm myself down, and I was well, should I be doing this at all? Anyway, let's get into today's reading. I wanted to start with that a beautiful day begins with a beautiful mindset, and the universe today wanted to remind me that I'm in control of my own happiness. And what really got me was that I normally would only have said a lot, but this book has come to be a lot to me, this angel book here. I'm really tapping into the angel frequencies, because so right now we're at the 741 hertz music. That's what you hear. It cleanses infections and dissolves toxins. It's an aura cleanse, so you're also receiving a wonderful little sound bath at the same time. And then we have our white oracle, and this is Sole Poluti, and she is the one that, or him, or I think it's a woman, has. But let's go back to this message over here. It says, focus on what lights you up, for you're here to blaze new trails. And here's a little story. I mean, it says we take for granted, raise your vibration. It says, Archie of Victory, That's who she is. Victory, right? We're here to win. Whose name is derived from the Latin word vincere, meaning to overcome, serves on the diamond ray of universal ascension magic and wisdom with her counterpart, Archangel Raziel, Victory, also known as Chakara. Guides that when we focus on raising our vibration, the doorway to our consciousness opens. Walking through the pathways up here, the first propels us forward to fulfill our karma, the earthly lesson we choose before incarnating. The second spirals upwards and ascend our awareness. Daily meditation is the key to escort us to these pathways. Victory is nudging you to meditate more, which will raise your vibration of your home, for you are not a product of your environment. Your environment is a product of you. Invite and cheer Victory to develop the third eye of the crown chakras, creating positive revolution, embodying your magic of feng shui of your space and inner reality, and turning ideas into gold. That is so like everything that I needed to kind of like remind myself today, because I was just thinking about this and I was like, whoa, I'm doing this. I've done like so much of it. And, should I do another one? And I was like, wow, like I said to myself, ever since that day that Mars is conjuncted that Uranus, that I had really just perfected just what this whole thing really, really, really means, and like how to make it all work out. And I have like 8 decks, and I make 8 decks work out every single time, and I can rearrange them, and I made all these different parts to like what it could definitely be, and it all kind of came all at once. And here it is reminding me that that I shouldn't really like stop. And so that's what I got out of it, and I hope that there's something in here that resonates for where you are in your journey with whatever you're doing here too as well. And so now we're on to Miss Solvi Polluti of 741 hertz, and this says almost the same exact thing. It says, tune into your heart and you will be able to find your way through any negative and toxic situation. Engage in self-healing and space clearing. Commit to regular practices that help you connect to your inner light. Your light shall be overcome by any darkness or negativity. Shall not. Take time to clean your heart and mind of negativity by focusing on divine and bring in the joy to your heart. It's appropriate for you to desire your own personal and sacred space and access it daily. So when I was trying to boycott my day, I was not going to get away with this. And so like this is it, committing to a spiritual life. And they both said it every single time. This one says if you do it every day, you're opening those pathways, and this one says if you do it every day and keep your heart clean, you gotta do what you gotta do. So anyways, today's totem has a half side of a BFF. So these are just random things that I find at different times, and then I have like 2 shark teeth here, and I have a natural calcite on the back side of it. Is like a shell that this calcite grew on. That's kind of like what happens in Florida here. That's the only gemstone that we have. And this king just keeps falling here. Okay, so let's get on to today. Like as I said, I'm about to have like this sun conjunct Uranus. I don't know where I'm going to be. More than likely, I guess I'll be home, because I had to like kind of change my plans around. So maybe it's a good thing to be home. Who knows what's going to find me, right? Well, let's go on to today's messages. I hope it's something good, like I'm ready for something good. Oh my lord. There's a tower. Someone's coming out of nowhere. They're busting out this person. Is it me? Is it you? Is it someone? Is it someone who has been silent with all of us here in this wonderful reading on this emotional, retrospective love kind of weekend here with Venus sextiling my ascendant? Exactly. Yes, it is. My Venus, listen, Venus at 10 degrees at this very moment is giving me a sextile to my sun. So that means that I have a Venus sextile my sun, and the Venus happens to be in Scorpio. It means I'm the brightest thing that how this angle could ever see here, and I'm in it right now, which is probably a good reason why I should be doing this reading, just because I'm getting all of the love vibes. Believe it, it's actually here. And then what happens is that Venus is going to move 1 degree, and I'm going to have that Venus then give me a 90-degree angle to my Venus in Aquarius, which will be a Venus square Venus, and that's going to happen tomorrow. So I'm on this like 3-kick situation weekend where I'm just stuck and I'm in the middle of a Uranus moment, okay? So this is like super, 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 super crazy. And then there's a tower. So something unusual goes down today. Aha. But it comes from truth. You gotta love that, right? It wouldn't be blue if it wasn't true. You know, that's the thing, you know. You don't realize how when you're not telling the truth and this shit goes over here, you're gonna blow. So that's this. You gotta be thankful now. Whatever, whomever, me, them, it frees us. Ooh, and we go straight into a mental conflict. Well, what does that mean, right? Normally that's the Two of Pentacles. Listen, there's 2 ways to think about something. Now that something's gonna change, right? That's gonna take your mental conflict. But what does the story end with? It ends with a triumph, okay? We're gonna take this. Why? Because somebody was following everything here, okay? Oh yes. What was it? So much, right? Spirit's been bugging people. Silence gotten to them. It's been a long ass time. The suffering has just gone down enough. Somebody come to a bright new idea. And then an empress came about, a wish came about, and some speedy little thing. So that's what we have going on over there so far. Let's see what the backstory is. This is the thing I love the most about this stuff here. Here we go, the magic of Merlin. And the enchanted, the unknown is exciting, right? There's going to be something magical this weekend. What do we have? A brand new state of action. If it was stagnant, it's saying over here it's breaking through, and it's doing it twice. They're under each other. What do we have here? Because someone is being seen, a reflection of what a 10 of Cups could be. Everything, right? Everything that you want to have. All the love. We talk about this was an emotional weekend, and dreams are here. Dreams are here. How do we end this? We end this with another ace. You see more like there's a new beginning coming in this weekend here, and it's coming from what? The ace of wands is matching the king of wands here, and the king of wands is giving off an ace of swords, which is a key, right? What's a key? What do keys do? They open doors. What are we talking about here, right? We were opening some doors. It could be anything. It could be a person. It could be something. So far, listen, they're showing these people breaking through. All right, so now we're gonna take this thing now. We're gonna dissect this whole disruption that's going on, because disruption has some new news to it. And where do we fall? We fall with an 8 of Cups. Someone leaving behind something. They're walking away from something. 1 cup, they're walking and they're throwing that shit away. What do we have? A Knight of Swords. Someone taking some action to actually kind of bring some sort of her halfway of like getting this casting of this ball into the air. What happens to them though? They're in this nightmare. They're having nightmares about it. That's the reason for this tower. This is the reason why they're looking back like, damn, I left everything behind, right? This is a new beginning and a leaving behind. Wow. And some ball is halfway in the air in the middle of this reading. And so was a lot of a nightmare. What do we have here? So I wanted to tell you, these came out as an extra. See how there's 2 10 of Cups now? That's what they want to tell you. But this 10 of Cups wanted to talk about, like, it just kept on moving. I just gave it a time, but look why. The Ten of Cups wants just Queen of Cups. This is gonna end here. This person's leaving behind some fucking ugly ass house. That's what that shit is. Look how lonely that thing is, man. Falling apart, baby. You live in an old house, whoever you is. Sorry, I hate when I get like that. You know, I have a different personality when I do tarot. You gotta appreciate that. But here too, this one was talking and the Hierophant came about. So there's some justice coming about here, okay? The two pillars are there one more time. And that was the extra card. I allowed them to be. This one kept on moving, but I know it's a king. What do we have? A Page of Cups. We're in a section of all cups here. Just like I said to you, we're in so much water. What do we have on this side? Five of Cups. Yeah, right under these Nine of Swords. This is a painful moment from some stuff that's gone on in the past. What do we have the base of the reading? Well, he's upside down, but I'm not sure. The King of Wands. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles. What do we have, ladies and gentlemen? We have an Ace of Pentacles that ends here. We have an Ace of Sword that ends this deck over here. We have Merlin come about with 0, and we have an Ace over here. We also have 10, and then we have a dream, the stars from the sky. Who comes from there? Who comes from there? Star seeds. Who are star seeds? Twin flames. Who are star seeds? They're two soulmates. Who are those people? The truth is coming about something. It's gonna bust through and break through. Let's hope it's something amazing. It probably is. It's talking about 10 of Cups. It's talking about the most amount of love you can put into something. The most of love. But this person's pulling this person here. This person wants to go from this person to see this person to this person. They're a Queen of Cups. Someone with more cups than 8 cups. And then we have the last oracle message here. Inner peace and instant in time. It strikes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Enough to watch. Thy pulse heartbeat enough. Now sleep and rest what thou couldst make time to do so too. I'll wind thee up no more. I'll say that one more time just because it's a little bit of a rhyme here. It's by someone by the name of Ben Johnson. It says, it strikes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Enough, dear watch. Thy pulse hath beat enough. Now sleep and rest what thou couldst make time to do so too. I'll wind thee up no more. I guess it's like we gotta shut the top. We gotta shut things off. Here's a little bit more so we can understand this. We are lost in the moment, staring into a void, utterly engrossed and transfixed on some specific point or action in the distance. In this state, we are oblivious to time and reality. A young woman seated on a calm platform stares at a dragonfly settling on the lilies below. Its movement becomes the focal point of her concentration, transforming her into a calming meditative state in which all distractions are removed. The number on the clock above float away, the recording of passing time temporarily on hold. She is at one with her universe. All worries, concerns, and negativity fade. In this captured moment of escape, there is only stillness and peace. Well, that's a contrast from this over here, right? Because that's what this tower is about. We just have to concentrate on our peace at the moment here in a time of complete disruption, which to me it's really funny because they're both on the opposite sides of everything, right? Mental conflict, and then you have all this stuff. Well, it's another day in the fight for love. It's another day of just the world turning here, and how astrology and tarot cards are syncing very well. Anyways, I hope you enjoy your weekend. I hope that you are cleansing and putting your spiritual life as a priority. That's what I was saying here today, how it makes everything better for you in your life and where you are the person that's transforming your life. Life is not running you, you're running it from your little point here. Anyways, have a great weekend. Bye. Well, as you know, I always do a final part of this. Okay, so while this had ended with a Queen of Cups here, and we backtrack a little bit here, we go. We find that this King of Wands here, who was just looking, I guess, at choices, makes a single choice for love, right? Hoping that it happens, and has choices because we have Seven of Cups, right? He's very illusioned by them. He takes a very long time and it was a real battle, but eventually he settles for a Queen of Cups, the most amount of love that you can get in a situation from someone. And a Ten of Cups. So here's another version, right? Because obviously it's very apparent here. It is whomever this person has two choices. But here we find as well that if we're ending from the Chariot here and we're in the long line over here, right? And we look over here, when he ends this Chariot here, obviously something's gonna happen by this full moon here. But here's the thing though, like, what is this? These are two emotional people who are looking at the same moon, hoping for something to happen. But here they are too. Here is this, but here's this person with choices again, still in the same thing. Seven of Cups is a choice here. But you know what's amazing about this whole thing, and really, you should be very happy, anybody who's watching this. Watch that this is 7 here. Watch that there's 7 over here. Watch that there's 2 sevens here. And watch that the 7 turned into 1 offer. 1 Queen of Cups. Okay? 1 key. There's 2 keys here. But it's an ace, with a letter. Okay? With the moon attached to it again. So, what does that mean? Yeah, by this next moon, you really will find yourself in another place. Because this person left behind 2 cups here. And this is what they were thinking about. So it has really turned around. Because even here, you see here's the offer. And he's looking, really, if you want to break it down, he's looking really at the Queen. So, there you go.